in Siedlęcin, which is a rather obscure town in Lower Silesia in southwest Poland, there is the biggest and best preserved medieval tower house in Central Europe. The building was erected in the early 14th century by Duke Henry I of Javor. He commissioned the frescoes behind me, which were painted around the year 1345 by a Swiss artist. Technically speaking, these are not made using the fresco technique, which is painting on a wet lime plaster, but instead they are made al secco, so on a dry plaster already. All of the painting has 33 square meters. Now, these paintings are special due to a number of reasons. First of all, they are the oldest secular paintings in Poland. Secondly, they are one of 12, I believe, examples across Europe of Arthurian legends in this format. And finally, they are world's only preserved in situ, which means in original place, paintings about the legend of Sir Lancelot of the Lake. So let's read it together. Let's read this 7 centuries old comic book, essentially. Now, in order to read it correctly, we have to actually start with the lower register and then make our way upwards, which to us might seem quite counterintuitive probably, but it's actually a common case with medieval paintings. So the lower register shows Sir Lancelot and his cousin Sir Lionel shortly after they had been knighted. They set out for a journey and an epic adventure to prove their valor to the world. In the first scene from the left, you can spot Sir Lionel and Sir Lancelot riding on horseback and trying to find a place to rest after a long ride. The next scene shows Sir Lancelot sleeping beneath the apple tree while Sir Lionel is supposed to be on a watch. Unfortunately, as you can see, Sir Lionel falls asleep leant against his sword. He gets ambushed by the evil Sir Tarquin. Tarquin hates Lancelot because Lancelot in the past killed his brother. Tarquin's hatred led already to the death of many good knights. When Lancelot wakes up and realizes that Lionel is missing, he comes to the rescue. The third scene shows an epic duel between Lancelot and Tarquin. Of course, Sir Lancelot defeats and kills Tarquin, freeing Lionel alongside other knights of the Round Table. There's also another small scene after the window greases. This scene depicts 2 knights. One of them is kneeling in front of the other. It's probably Sir Lionel who acknowledges and thanks Sir Lancelot for the rescue. So far we found out how Sir Lancelot became great and famous. Now let's take a look at the upper register. In the first scene here, you can see the famous beautiful Queen Guinevere, the wife of the King Arthur, accompanied by her court ladies. You can also see the castle of Camelot in the background. The Queen wants to enjoy the nice weather and decides to go on a little trip with her court. As the legend goes, many knights secretly loved Guinevere. That was also the case with the villainous Meleagant, who took captive the queen with the court during the trip, which is portrayed in the next scene. The last scene of the upper register shows brave Lancelot as he frees the prisoners, but he also falls for the charm and beauty of the queen. This time the love is mutual. However, there is an important detail in this scene we have to notice. Note that the lovers, Lancelot and Guinevere, hold each other by the left hand. This shows that the relationship is adulterous, as Guinevere already had a husband and Lancelot was the best friend of Arthur. to show that love between two people was legitimate, as for example it was the case with married couples. In medieval paintings they were depicted holding each other right hand, as the love was right. But that's definitely not the case with Lancelot and Guinevere. On the western wall we can spot sketches of the next paintings continuing the story about Sir Lancelot. The outlines of the characters are waiting for centuries to be filled. But why were these never completed? Well, the reason's probably that the works stopped due to the death of the Duke Henry I of Javor, and unfortunately these were never finished. Apart from the tale of Sir Lancelot, there is also a depiction of Saint Christopher here, who is a patron of knightly fidelity, and a depiction of two couples, a knight with a maiden and a knight and a married woman. We can see them later underground, already dead, which refers to a popular medieval moral, memento mori, remember you must die. The whole set of paintings carries a clear moralistic message. A knight in the Middle Ages should be, in contrast to Sir Lancelot, as faithful and as obedient as Saint Christopher, who carried the infant Christ across the water on his shoulders. Now there's an interesting story on how these paintings were discovered. Yes, discovered, because it wasn't always clear what did they represent. Over the centuries the tower had various owners and intended uses, and at some point the illustrations were just painted over. They were discovered in 1887 by a tax inspector called Wilhelm Klose, when he removed part of the paint, revealing the paintings underneath. By this time, of course, nobody really had a clue what did the forgotten paintings represent. Eventually, in the first half of the 20th century, it was assumed that the paintings depict clergymen and the foundation of a monastery nearby. It was only in 1986 that Dr. Jacek Witkowski of Wrocław University's Institute of History of Art discovered that the paintings in Siedlęcin are about Sir Lancelot, and the supposed monastery is the castle of Camelot we've seen earlier. This video is made just for you, so definitely go and check it out.